Let's do a debt payoff scenario today. Meet Tim Tim. Tim Tim lives in Orlando, he makes $40,000 a year, and he has $10,000 of debt on a credit card that he wants to pay off. We're going to find the exact day that Tim Tim pays off his debt, and then we're going to figure out how to beat it. And along the way, we're going to set up an emergency fund for him. Here's Tim Tim's current situation. You can see he gets $13.10 every pay period. That's every 2 weeks from his employer, Dunder Mifflin. And you can see all of his expenses here. The big ones to point out are his rent is very reasonable. He found a place for $1,000 a month. He's got a car payment of $420 a month, car insurance, there's his electricity, his cell phone, his other utilities, and his home internet. $200 is what Tim Tim has allowed himself for food, gas, and entertainment combined. Now, before we go anywhere else, $200 is very tight on a biweekly basis. I get that. What we're trying to do is say you don't need to live like this forever, but if you can get yourself to the point where you can get by on $200 for your groceries, your gas, and anything fun that you want to do, every pay period, this is how long it'll take to pay off the debt. I understand for some people that may be unreasonable. For some people, you've already got yourself living within those means. So Tim Tim's giving himself $200 per paycheck as a limitation on his discretionary spending. Now you can see at the beginning, Tim Tim's not transferring anything to savings right away. And there's a reason for that. He's got a minimum payment on his credit card of around $280 a month. And what he's doing is every 2 weeks, he's putting $150 toward that card. And you can see we're starting at zero. This is Tim Tim's checking balance. He's got his first paycheck coming in. You can see all the expenses that come out of it, and you can see how much is left at the end. You can see he's got zero at savings to start, and he's got $10,000 in credit card debt. And the first thing I'm going to do is scroll to the right. We're going to watch the credit card payments. When they go away, we'll know that the debt is paid off, and we'll see the credit card balance declining as we scroll to the right. And right now it's August 7th, 2026. That's his current pay period. So let's scroll to the right and see how long it takes for that credit card to go to zero. There it is. You can see right here, August 18th of 2028, he gets it paid off. And along the way, he put $1,000 in checking, and he's got just over $1,000 in savings. So at this pay rate, with these expenses, it's going to take a full 2 years to pay off that $10,000. And that's with a lot of discipline to get to that $200 per pay period. And let's just look at a couple other things that we've done to set this up. You can see at first there's nothing going to savings, and there's a reason for that. If we did have money going to savings, then the checking account would go negative. He's only got $590 in there to start. By the second pay period, he gets down to $70, so he's dangerously close to zero. But we set this up so as soon as Tim Tim reaches $1,000, you can see any excess is going to spill over to his savings account. So the first time you see that happen is in October. We've got $200 that spills over into savings, and now we've got $270 in savings. And around the same time, we started to put $35 from every paycheck into savings also, so that continues to grow. Then you can see savings also has a cap. We self-imposed a cap of $1,000 for an emergency savings that he hits on February 19th of 2027. And once that happens, his additional savings start to spill over toward the debt also. So you can see $11.61 on February 19th, March 5th, $36.32. Then you can see that continues to spill over as any excess pushes Tim Tim above $1,000 in checking and $1,000 in savings. That all goes straight to the debt. So in 2028, when this gets paid off, you can see that spillover continues to accumulate in the savings account. And now his savings account grows even faster. So if we scroll way out, you can see after 5 years in 2031, he's got $20,792.68 in savings. And if you look at his net worth chart, you can see his net worth goes positive right here in May of 2028. He pays off the debt here in August of 2028. And then he continues to build up money in his savings account that, of course, if he wanted to, he could put into a brokerage account or start to invest. So I want to recognize for a moment in this scenario, 2 years is a long time to only spend $200 per paycheck on everything from groceries to your gas to any fun that you want to have. And for many people, it's impossible or close to impossible. Tim Tim already has a great plan here. He's not paying too much in rent. His car payment isn't unreasonable. He's not in a position where he can just get rid of that car if he has to drive to work. So there's not much else he can do. So what does he do to pay this off faster? And getting right to the point, there's not much he can do without getting more income. He's scrimping beyond belief. He doesn't have money to put aside for an emergency right now. And at some point, like many people, the way out of this is to get more income, to get more revenue coming in. And that's not easy either. But let's just show what happens if he does. Let's say for the next year, he can focus on trying to get a job that pays $50,000 instead of $40,000. Because if he can do that, then his entire picture changes. So keep in mind that Tim Tim paid off his debt in August of 2028. And now what we'll do is assume that Tim Tim is going to get some sort of a promotion. We'll say it's effective August 1st of 2027, about a year from now. He's going to get to $50,000 in income. That's going to bring him to $1,627 for his biweekly paycheck. So we're going to add $317 for a promotion. And now you can see in August of 2027, Tim Tim's paycheck goes from $1,310 to $1,627. And when that happens, there's even more money that starts to spill out of checking into savings and out of savings toward the credit card. And now Tim Tim pays off that debt in February 2028. So 6 months sooner than he would have before. Now, if we look at Tim Tim's chart, 5 years out, he's got $55,000 in net worth. Now, here's the main takeaway for Tim Tim and for anyone else in this scenario. Obviously, making more money is going to help. It's not always going to be possible. It's definitely not going to be easy. But by starting now to develop the habits and the plan that he needs to pay off that debt in 2 years, now Tim Tim can take some steps to try and get that promotion or to try and find that new job that just accelerates the plan. But one thing that Tim Tim didn't do when he changed jobs was change anything around his expenses. Everything stayed exactly the same. And the only thing that changed in his plan was that he was getting more income. That cut 6 months off of his debt repayment plan. And then if he wanted to, he could have increased the amount he was putting towards savings. At that point, he could take some savings and pay off the car and decide to get a less expensive car. And that way he could develop even more equity over time and start to do some things like invest in a brokerage account. If he has a 401k, he could start to fund that, and he could plan that all out in his model and make those trade-offs to see what was going to happen in the future. So many times when we talk about debt, it can feel so overwhelming that you wonder, can I ever get out of this? And the answer is often, yes, you can. But it helps tremendously to plan it out ahead of time and know what the trade-offs need to be in your spending so that you can make a path toward getting out and then start to make changes to the model, even small tweaks to say, what if I spend this much less? What if I can cut out this fixed expense? What if I can reduce my food, gas, and entertainment to an even smaller amount? And then see how many months that buys you in the payoff. And in this case, Tim Tim didn't need the job change in order to pay this off, but you can see how much it helped him. And it only helped him because he didn't change anything about his expenses when he changed jobs. Now, I can't tell you exactly how much to spend or how much you need to spend to meet all of your needs, but what I can do is offer you this. There's a spreadsheet template that looks a lot like this that at least gets you started on making a model that can show you the future. And I'll leave you a link in the description that you can use to download that template. Now, that'll also get you on a wait list. If you like the app that we use today and you want to use it to model out your future, your debt payoff, your savings, whatever it may be, it's called sheetkeeper.io, and you'll be able to get that app shortly. Also, if there's another specific scenario you want to see me run, just leave it in the comments, and in a future video, I'll give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.